Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranaschakshushrotramatho balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakaro Mastva Nirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu dharmaste mai santu Te mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Ittiraksharamudgitamupasita Om Itihyudgayate Tasyopavyakhyanam. Uttamadhikaran prati sakshat atmatattvam sashthe nirdishtam. 66th chapter, Sakshat Atmatattvam. The true nature of the self. Sakshat Nirdishtam Sat Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Sakshat. Directly, immediately that you are Tat, you are Sat, you are Brahma. Uttamadhikaranam prati, towards a Uttamadhikari, the most evolved student. Madhyamadhikaranam prati. So the 7th chapter is for Madhyamadhikari or Adhamadhikari, the middling student, or even the inferior student. Paramparaya Brahmatmatma Upadeshtum. And so, as far as the inferior student is concerned, then you have to slowly, not sakshat, not immediately, not directly. Uttamadhikari, the one who is prepared to receive this upadesha that you are Brahman, his mind is conducive for this teaching. Meaning that it does not entertain the inner complexes that a human being entertains normally. Complex, I am no good. So looking down upon oneself is the usual complex that everybody has. So Uttama Adhikari is the one who is, when we say Antahakana Shuddhi, the purification of mind, means a comfort with one's own self, self-acceptance, being happy with one's own self. So that is what the Antahakana Shuddhi does. What is meant by the purification of mind is that you progressively discover a comfort, happiness with your own self. And therefore, then when you are told that you are Ananda Swarupa, there is no difficulty in just accepting it. So even though the mind may understand what is being told, it has great difficulty in accepting what is being told. I know what it means, Tattvamasi, I understand. But then I cannot accept it. I cannot look upon myself as Brahman. I just don't have that comfort with myself. So Uttama Adhikari is one who is comfortable with himself and therefore comfortable with everything. So his mind does not resist this teaching that Sarvam Khalvidam, all this is Brahman, Sarvam Brahmopanishadam, all this is Brahma which is revealed by Upanishads. And that is a self, and that you are, the mind is comfortable with this teaching. But Madhyamadhikari cannot accept it. His mind is not yet evolved enough. So he has to be slowly led to that. So paramparaya, you are nama, you are vak, you are manaha, you are sankalpaha, slowly. You are annamaya, you are pranamaya, you are manomaya, you are vijnanamaya, paramparaya. Thus progressively he has to be led. See, Madhyamadhikari is the one who can receive the Upadesha. The Adhamadhikari will be one who cannot receive the Upadesha also, he has to be even prepared for the Upadesha. So Madhyamadhikari, the middling student, can be progressively led to see himself as Brahman, whereas the most inferior student cannot be even led. His mind has to be prepared. So Advitiya Brahma Vishyatu Avisheshat Shashta Saptamayoho. Somebody may think that, look, in the 6th chapter also the teaching was Advitiya Brahma. Ekameva Advitiyam Sat. So one non-dual Brahman. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Svagata, Bhedarahitam, Ekam, Advitiyam, Brahma. That was the subject matter of the 6th chapter. And 7th chapter uses the word Bhuma. Yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shrunoti, nanyat vijanati. There is also non-duality. So again, same Param Brahma is being taught in the 7th chapter. So what is the difference, basic difference between the 6th chapter and the 7th chapter? Is it not that the Shruti is simply repeating herself? It is not a Punarukti. It says no, Sakshat Parampariyabhyam. The difference is not what is taught. Difference is in the manner in which it is taught. So what is taught is Param Brahma, both in the 6th chapter as well as the 7th chapter. But the way it is taught, Sakshat, directly he was told, you are Brahman. Paramparaya, step by step is told, you are Brahman. So the difference is in the method of communication, because the Adhikari, the student, is of a different caliber. Iti ekaha prakara. That's one way of looking at the connection between the 6th and the 7th chapters. Athava yad eka vijnanena sarvijnana muktam tad asat, somebody may say. Or you can look upon what the 7th chapter does also in this way. Somebody may raise a question here, Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnana Muktam Tat Asat. So that the 6th chapter said, Yena Ashrutam Shrutam Bhavati Avatam Matam Avijnatam Vijnatam Eti, which is equivalent to saying that Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam. So by hearing one, everything becomes heard. By reflecting upon one, everything becomes reflected. By knowing one, everything becomes known, So, that is the pratigna, Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam. Somebody says, Tad Asata. That's not right. Why? Namadinam Uttarottara Bhuyastu Visishtanam Sanmatra Jnane Anavagamat. Just because you know Sat as Jagat Karanam, as Advitiyam, so what? Still, Nama, Vak, Manaha, Sankalpaha, Uttarottara, Bhuyastva Vishishtanam, where each succeeding one is superior to the previous one. So thus, there is a whole sequence here, beginning from the most inferior to the superior, further and further superior. So by knowing Sat, how do you know all of this? So by knowing Sat, how do you know the Nama and the speech and the mind, the Sankalpa and all this sequence, how do you know? So that can be somebody's question. Iti asankya Brahmavida Sarvajnatam Sphutikartam. So Brahmavid, the knower of Brahman, becomes Sarvajna. Yo mameva sammudaha janati purushottam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. So Lord Krishna says, evam asammudam janati purushottamam. Thus a person becoming free from moha or delusion knows the self as Purushottama. Sa sarvavid, he becomes knower of all. So in Vedanta, the wise person is described as Sarvavit, the one who is knower of all. In what manner he is omniscient, all-knowing. In what way is the knower of Brahman all-knowing? That also we should understand. Does he know all the grains of sand, all the hair on my head? Is that what is the omniscience is? Sarvajnatam Sphutikartam. So that proposition was made in the 6th chapter that knowing Sat or Brahman, one as well knows everything. One becomes the knower of all. In what manner? How does Brahmavid, the knower of Brahman, become Sarvajna, becomes all-knowing? Sphutikartam, to clarify that also. 6th chapter, there is a 7th chapter. So Bhashyakara said, Paramatha Tattva-upadesha Pradhana-para Shashtodhyaya. 6th chapter was concerned with, devoted to the Paramartha Tattva-upadesha. So it did not deviate itself. The 6th chapter, one thread was constant. Paramartha Tattva. All along. There was no distraction, no deviation from that, because the student was ready for that rigorous treatment. Otherwise you need some distraction, some stories, some jokes, and people need that. Because if the teacher focuses only on Paramartha Tattva, then the student gets exhausted, you get tired, you start getting headache. Because it requires that concentration. So one who is ready enjoys it. But is not, finds it very difficult. So, sixth chapter was Paramartha Tattva Upadesha Pradhana Paraha, was devoted to the Upadesha, the teaching of the Paramartha Tattva. Chhandogya Sadatmaikatva Nirnaya Parayata eva Upayuktaha. And therefore, his main concern was to reveal Sat as Atma, Sat or Brahman as Advitiyam and as Atma. And that was the concern. So that was the subject matter. That was what was in the mind of the Shruti at that time, and so that was what was unfolded there. Na satah arvat vikar lakshanani tattvani nirdishtani. So in that the teacher did not have the occasion or did not see the need to talk about anything else. Sarvam means sarvam. But here sarvam means what? You mean that everything is sarvam, Vasudeva sarvam ide is okay? So what? This thief also is Vasudeva? So these questions can arise. Then you have to perhaps dilute your teaching to include those things. So the concentrated teaching in the 6th chapter and a diluted teaching in the 7th chapter, keeping in mind the listener. Na satah arvak vikar lakshanani tattvani nirdishtani. See, Bhashyakara does not look upon Shvetaketu and Narada Muni, etc. He is not concerned with who the teacher is and who the student is, what the teaching is. That's all. So how the teaching of the 6th chapter, teaching of the 7th chapter. That doesn't mean that Shvetaketu is superior to Narada Muni and he is superior to Brahma. That is not the point. Na satah arvak vikar lakshanani tattvani nirdishtani. And therefore in the 6th chapter, there is no need to point out the tattva or the entities which are inferior to Sat. Sat is one, without a second, infinite. And then there are the whole host of things which are limited. Yatah tani namadini pranantani kramena nirdishya. So now Shruti thinks, this is how Shruti thinks. Tani namadini pranantani kramena nirdishya. I will first point out all those inferior things, beginning from Nama of the name, Devadatta, Pranantani, all the way up to Prana, in the sequence of superiority, Nirdishya. I'll first indicate that. Tadvarena api. So Tadvarena, by that dvara, meaning that by that method, Bhumakyam Nirtishayan Tattvam Nirdekshami. So Shruti thinks that way. So Bhashyakara looks upon Shruti as a teacher and others as the students, that's all. So Shruti talks through Dalaga or talks through Sanat Kumara or talks through Prajapati is immaterial to Bhashyakara. Shruti is communicating to us, that's what it is. Whether dialogue is by Yajnavalkya and Janaka, whatever it is. So this is Nirdekshami. Who says that? Shruti says. Shruti says, this is what I will point out now. So first I will describe all those mundane or inferior or the Vyavaharika tattvas, and through that I will lead the student to the Sat or Bhuman, which is the subtlest or the most superior. With that in mind, Shaka Chandravat iti Shaka Chandra Darshanavat. Like pointing out the moon or making this person see the moon, subsequently Shaka, so start with the tree, the grossest, and the branch, the least subtle, and the tip of the branch subtler, and moon the subtlest. Iti imam, with that in mind, imam saptamam praparthakam arabhate. The Shruti commences this 7th chapter with that in mind. So once this is clear to us, you know how to look at the 7th chapter, how to listen to it. The preface. So if you know the preface tells you what is the subject matter and how the matter proceeds. That's how the preface should be. So from the preface you get an overall idea of what the text is all about. So here also Bhashyakara writes the preface so that we know so that we are oriented towards listening to what the 7th chapter has to say. The proper orientation is created. Or Bhashyakara said, Anirdishteshu hi satah arvak tattveshu sanmatrecha nirdishte. Or, as done in the 6th chapter, sanmatrecha nirdishte. Only sat was pointed out, that's all. Anirdishteshu tada arvak tattveshu. But these tattvas, the vyavaharik tattvas, which are arvak, inferior to sat. Sat is a paramarik satta, so vyavaharik satta. So there, paramarik satta was the subject matter. Here, through vyavaharik satta, the teacher wants to lead the student to the knowledge of the paramatika tattva. Where all these nama, etc., is all the vyavaharika tattva. Sanmatrecha nirdeshte anyadapi avijñātam syāt. So everything other than Sat remains unknown. All the inferior things remain unknown. Although Tikakara Anyat means Jivatma, but as Narendra Puri said, Anyat means everything other than Sat remains unknown. Meaning that a student is not able to connect. How by knowing the Sat, everything becomes known. That student is not able to connect it, then the teacher has to connect it. The 6th chapter, the student had that caliber that he could connect that Vasudeva Sarvam. All these, he could see that. But here, the student cannot connect. The Sat is everything, means Nama also is Sat and Prana also is Sat. That is difficult for him to see. So, Anyadapi avijñātam syāt. Therefore, the other one remains unknown. That is what this student thinks. So, student of that caliber who thinks that by knowing Sat, I have known Sat all right, but then I have not known other things other than Sat. Although there cannot be anything other than Sat anyway, but still, as I said, one is not able to connect that everything is Sat, and Sat includes everything, good, bad and indifferent. Because these questions remain in the mind of even very intelligent people also. How can you say that this terrorist is Brahman? What are you talking about? How do you say this whole beautiful universe is mithya? What are you talking about? So therefore, this doesn't go in. It's quite understandable. So Shruti understand that. Everybody is not Uttamadhikari. Therefore, no Vratapate, all of this has to be said, and so that everywhere is Brahman. And therefore, you just say Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, all this is Brahman. It's all right for somebody, but for most people it is not. And therefore, you have to tell them that this Sarvam includes what? Stena, Ram, Pata, it also includes thieves and the robbers, everything it includes. Includes the science also and the plants and trees also and everything it includes. Whatever a student in his world, in Rudram, whatever is in the world of a student of that time, all of this is pointed out, that this sand also is Brahman, this water also is Brahman, the water flowing in the river is Brahman, water in the lake is Brahman, water in the pond is Brahman, etc. Oh really? Really? Is that so? So Sarvam is then elaborated. To superior student is Sarvam. Then it becomes clear to him. But the other one, you have to say, what Sarvam means? All of this is Sarvam. Really? You mean this also is Brahman? The robber also is Brahman? So see, then he is made to see. Iti ashanka kasade syat. somebody can have that ashanka that I have known Sat, all right, but I have not known other things. Samabhut, then the knowledge cannot be complete because you must become sarvajna, you must become all-knowing. Meaning that there should not remain any problem in life. That's the whole idea. What is meant by knowing is understanding things. That okay, I know. Jane, maulkya, joya. Oh yeah, I know who you are. I have seen you. Okay, no problem. Oh, we met at that time. Oh, we saw, So when it's clear, then there is no problem. Who are you? When did you meet? I never knew you. Oh, Swami, what do you mean you? You forget me? A lot of confusion and problems are there. When you do not know things as you should know. Not that knowing means you have to know what is height and weight, etc. This is Devadatta, there is enough knowledge. So also Upanishad says this Brahman is enough knowledge. You did not know where he was born. Once you know this Brahman, this Vasudeva, is enough to give you satisfaction that you know. Just as even when I say I know this person, that doesn't mean that I know what his height is and weight is and where he was born and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what his heart looks like and what his lungs are. I don't know that. I need not know that. Knowing that he is Devadatta is enough. I am satisfied. That is what is important. I am satisfied whenever I confront anything, you should not create in me any confusion, should not create in me any doubts and questions and problems. That's all. That's all that counts. Who wants to know everything anyway? Who has time? And what's the use of that knowledge anyway? So where was this pot made and who made it and what does it matter to me? If it matters to you, all right, you investigate. That's your pleasure. So our Swamiji says, if he wants to know French language, he may as well. That is his luxury. Okay. Now nothing remains to be done, so you may as well do something. Okay. But not that you have to do. That's a problem. That have business. The tavya pratyaya should not be there. Kartavya. Oh, I must know this, otherwise I am incomplete, otherwise I am not comfortable. So I am not comfortable with things. What the Shruti wants to create is comfort with everything. And Vedanta says that by knowing that this is Vasudeva, this is Sat, and I am Sat, not only this is Sat, I am Sat. That is most important. That he is a manifestation of my own self. Now that cannot be a greater satisfaction than that. Even if I know this person as Vasudeva and I know myself different, then also there can be a problem because the duality is there. So Vasudeva Sarva means what? I am Vasudeva and this is Vasudeva also. This is one manifestation, another manifestation. Even I don't know myself in totality. How do I know? How much do I know myself? Very often doctors tell you what's going on in your body. We don't even know. So I don't even need to know. That how did I look like when I was 3 years old? What does it matter? Those things, as long as things don't bother me, it doesn't matter whether you know them or not. When things bother me, that is when I become uncomfortable, and that is samsara. Uncomfortable means you are unhappy. So you are comfortable. Upanishad says, Vedanta says that by seeing everything as Sat or Brahman or Vasudeva and seeing yourself as Vasudeva, there is total comfort. There is no discomfort that I should know something more. I wish I had known something, etc. It's no more. Basically because this wise person has no agenda, that's another thing. He has no agenda. Therefore, through knowing, he doesn't want to accomplish anything also. The discomfort comes when you want to accomplish something which you cannot accomplish at this moment. But I don't need to accomplish anything, and that being the case, All the Visheshas do not matter, the Nirvishesha is known. Panditaha Samadarshinaha. The wise people are, they know the Nirvishesha among all the Visheshas. So, iti va tani nirdirikshade. And therefore, as Narendra Puri said that, this Brahmavida Sarvajñatvam Sfudikartam. How Brahmavid is Sarvajña, is all knowing, is omniscient. Or as again says Narendra Puri, Adham Adhikari. So this teaching can be to the Madhyam Adhikari or Adham Adhikari. Also the same teaching can be looked upon as directed to an Adham Adhikari, means an inferior student. Namadini Brahmatvena Upasya. The Upasana has to be taught. So one whose mind is not ready to receive the knowledge, that mind has to be prepared through Upasana, through meditation, meaning through tuning up with Ishvara. So Namadini Brahmatvena Upasya. The most evolved student knows Sarvam means Nam, etc. is Brahman. The middling student needs to be told, hey, this is also Brahman. Look properly. Oh yeah, yes, you're right. The thief also is Brahman, yes. But the most inferior student, he cannot see that even when you are told. How can you say that? So then he has to be tuned with Ishvara. Therefore, Upasana is there. And therefore, Namadini Brahmatvena Upasya. Meditating upon Nama. So to see Nama as Brahman is, of course, one thing, is knowledge. But can I see? I cannot see Nama as Brahman. I cannot see Vag, Mana, Sankalpa, all this stuff as Brahman. Then have the bhavana that Nama is Brahman. What is meditation? Maintaining the bhavana. That this Shaligrama is Vishnu, that is bhavana. This Pratima is Lord Krishna, is bhavana. So Nama is Brahman, Vag is Brahman, Manaha is Brahman. So just as bhavana, look upon all women as your mother. To see them as mother is the ultimate goal, but then if you cannot, then have the attitude that this is mother. So that is called Upasana. Upasya tat phalam cha bhuktva. Upasana always gives rise to a reward. Meditation gives rise to reward. Tat phalam cha bhuktva. So inferior fellow wants to experience also the benefit of that meditation, which I do not know whether he does or does not want, because again if he wants phalam, then there is a problem. Phalam bhog, then bhoga buddhi is there. It is vairagya is expected. The superiority, inferiority is in terms of the level of the intellect. But if vairagya is not there, he still wants to experience phalam, then he is likely to get stuck with those things. Anyway, here it says tat phalam cha bhuktva. Because the thing is, whenever there is a vidhi, do this, you have to necessarily tell them what is the benefit of doing it. That's what Vedas believe. Vedas seem to believe that a person will not do anything unless there is a personal reward. So whenever a vidhi is there, whenever a ritual is enjoined, a meditation is enjoined, they always make it a point to give it a phalashruti, what will be the reward of doing that. With the belief that a person always needs reward for doing anything. Because doing anything involves an exertion, and for undergoing that exertion, person always wants a reward. Otherwise he is not motivated to do something. So the benefit of the reward is for motivating a person to do something, so that's a pattern. Therefore, wherever vidhi is there, wherever something is enjoined, whenever you ask somebody to do something, you must always make that person understand what the benefit is. Then alone the fellow will do. So if you look upon this as containing the vidhi of upasana, it's that's an interpretation. That namaha and then this is vacha, bhuyaha, etc. So one is superior. So then at each stage, as though the Shruti is enjoining upasana. That's an interpretation. The Shruti is talking about seeing Brahman in all of them or having the attitude of Brahman. So if this is look upon Nama as Brahman, then that involves a mental action, then some phala must be there. So tat phalam ja bhuktva. So that is a traditional way of explaining. Kramena sakshat brahmatmaham pratipadyate iti. So after that meditation, when his mind is prepared, so when you meditate upon a woman as mother, then you are ready to see mother in her, In fact, everything is Brahman. But you are not able to see it. Then you prepare your mind by this attitude, this is Brahman, 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 Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Then in course of time, we become ready to see that it is Sri Krishna or Brahman, because it is Brahman. So upasanas or meditations that are taught in the Upanishads are based on the reality. Indeed, what is Ishvara. And therefore, they give you different methods of how to see Ishvara. So maintain that bhavana that is Ishvara. Some sadhurusha is there. Ishvara is the nature of order or harmony. So they show you certain orders in different directions and worlds and lokas and elements, etc. Some connections and harmony is shown, and in that manner Ishvara is present there. So see Ishvara or have the attitude. Then in course of time you will be able to see what is. So Karma Yoga is an attitude. Yoga of attitude. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha. By worshipping the Lord through one's karma or the duty. In course of time, then you can see it as Lord, that's all. So idea is to see everything as Ishvara. The stage before this is that maintain the attitude that everything is Ishvara. How do you maintain? Use your karma or your activity or action as an occasion to remind your mind, hey, you are doing this for Ishvara. Offer this to Ishvara. So that's how you maintain that bhavana. In course of time, the mind becomes ready to see that this is Ishvara. So that's the krama in Bhagavad Gita. So that's what Vedanta, Bhakti and Jnanam, that's what they were saying, Upasana and Jnanam. Iti pradarshanaartho va arambha iti. So this could be also that this chapter is addressed to an adhamadhikari, either madhyamadhikari or adhamadhikari. So Bhashyakara says on page 296, that's what Anandagiri also said, Namadi sankirtanasya tatparyantaramah athava iti. Namadi sankirtanasya. So, sankirtanam. In this case, singing, stating, nama, and then vak and manaha, etc. So, tatparyantaramaha. So, one tatparya is that one should know, the sarvagnya, one should know everything, and therefore this says all of this is Brahman for the student to see this fact that they are Brahman. Or, as Narendra Puri said, is for meditating upon this as Brahman, which leads you to see that it is Brahman. Or if you go to the Tika, line 26, Athava Mandanam Shigram Nirvishesha Brahmani Buddhi Anarohad. Athava Mandanam Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Mandadhikari. Adhikari, moksha. So moksha means that we expect the desire, keen desire for moksha. Or jignasu, the keen desire for knowledge. Except that somebody can solve all the algebra problems, somebody has problem with even the basic arithmetic, and somebody has problem with basic writing also. But the keenness to learn is the same. So adhikari is there, but the preparedness is of different degrees. Athva mandanam shigram nirvishesha brahmani buddhi anarohat. Say mandadhikari, who cannot right away see Brahman, nirvishesha Brahman, because to see one thing in many, you have to see nirvishesha and vishesha. The only way that all this can be Brahman is when Brahman is nirvishesha. So Vidya, Vinaya, Sampanne, Brahmani, all of this Samatattva is there. Then one is Satvik, other is Rajas, other is Tamas. To see Brahman in Satvik, Rajasic, Tamasic, it must be one that is devoid of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas limitations and Nirvishesha. So basically Upanishad teaches only Nirvishesham Tattva. That Tattva, the ultimate reality, is devoid of all attributes. Then only it can be all pervasive, then alone it can be self of all, then alone it can be limitless. Has to be nirvishesha. So we don't start savishesha and nirvishesha because the pratigna is knowing one, knowing everything by knowing one. That can be only if that one is nirvishesha, not savishesha. Savishesha means one possessed of vishesha. If you know one vishesha, you know no other things. There is no way that by knowing something possessed of some attribute, however great those attributes are, great, God is great. But then what about things that are not great? Ishvara is Ananda Kalyana Guna Ganaika Nilayaha, is the abode of all the most glorious virtues. But what about things that are not glorious? Is Ishvara there or not? If he is there, then he must transcend the glorious and inglorious also. So it's not to put down anything. It is to be faithful to what the Upanishad says. That's how Vashyakara begins. There is no agenda that this is wrong and that. This is what the Upanishad says. And what Upanishad says can be so only if this is so. So from this pratigna of knowing one, everything by knowledge of one, from the expression ekameva dvitiyam, sarvam khalvidam brahma, all of these only are possible provided Brahman is nirvishesham, in nirgunam, transcending all attributes. Don't have any, how can you worship that Brahman? That we will find out how to do that. Just because you want to worship, you cannot bring down Brahman to the level, some level. That's the problem. How can the universe be mithya? Then let us wait, understand what mithya is. So an emotional approach, how can you say that? Says, we are not saying that's the Upanishad. Then let us work out how to worship that Brahman. Let us work it out. That yes, you have to then, it is true that the various, what do you call it, the attributes are superimposed. Says nirvishesham param brahma sakshat kartum anishvaraha yamandas tenu kampyante savishesha nirupanaihi. There is a verse. Nirvishesham param brahma sakshat kartum anishvaraha. Those people who are not capable of sakshat kartum, see immediately nirvishesham Brahman that is nirvishesham. The thing is, self has to be nirvishesham. Because Brahman and self are one. Self or the Atma or consciousness has to be nirvishesha. That which objectifies all the vishesha itself has to be nirvishesha. So consciousness has to be devoid of all attributes. Then only it can illumine all attributes. If that consciousness also is Brahman, then Jagat Karanam or Jagat Adhishtanam also has to be consciousness, nirvishesha. But nirvishesham param brahma sakshakartum anishvaraha. So anishvara, those people who are not capable of sakshatkartum, of immediately seeing Brahman, that is nirvishesham. All right. Ye mandaha. So people of that level of intellect, te anukampyante. So they are blessed. So anukampa. Out of compassion for them, savishesha nirupanaihi, same Brahman now is presented to them as possessed of visheshanas or attributes which will motivate, which will inspire this person. So whenever Brahman is presented as possessed of visheshanas or attributes, those attributes are always inspiring attributes. Then later on he will say, ye cheva sattvika bhavale, rajasa, tamasascha. In the beginning he will say, I am, punyogandha prathivyam cha. I am the punyogandha. I am the sweet smell in the prithvi. Not that stinking odor, I am not. To begin with. I am the sweet smell. I am the sweet taste. I am the pleasant sound. So it's easier to meditate Ishvara. Once you are ready with that, then you may be ready to see Ishvara in other things also. So Savishesha Nirupanaihi, therefore Brahman is presented as Savishesha, meaning possessed of Visheshas or attributes or the qualities which are inspiring qualities, which is wonderful. And Vedanta, there is no problem with that at all. The only difference is that, okay, don't stop there. That there is something even superior to this. And so, do not stop there. So, nasvadet sukham tatra, do not get stuck there. So therefore, ye mandaha te anukampyante, therefore for manda, adhikar is Shigram nirvishesha brahmani buddhi anarohat. But buddhi cannot climb, cannot grasp, cannot comprehend nirvishesham Brahman or consciousness without any attributes. Therefore, namadi upasanaya, by meditating upon Brahman, upon familiar things. So this name and the speech and the mind, all the familiar things. So in the time of Upanishad, they did not have this Murti Puja. And so whatever things that are there, familiar things, they were used as the alambana, as ashraya, alambana, or a prop to meditate upon as Brahman. Namadi upasanaya buddhehe ekagrataya. So upasana or meditation is traditionally meant for ekagrata, chitta ekagrata, for the concentration or single pointedness of the mind. Paschat. So when that mandadhikari is prepared in this manner, nirvishesh buddhyarohartham, then for making him comprehend the nirvishesham Brahma, buddhya, that is buddhi should be able to comprehend. Aram is climb, or buddhi should be able to climb or comprehend nirvishesham Brahma. Namadi upasana ashritya vidhananyayana uchyante upasanaha. Namadi upasana. Each one is an upasana. Nama, Vak, Manaha, Sankalpa, each one is an upasana. All these upasana meditations, uchyante, are stated for what? Ashritya, Vidhana, Nyayana. But the Nyaya that comes from the Purva Mimamsa, Ashritya Vidhana. So look at footnote number 1. Dadnendriya kamasya juhoyati tatra yatha prakruta agnihotra ashritya. Agnihotra is one word. Ashritya, not ashrit. So then there should be a separation. Dadhi indriyodeshana vidhiyate tadvada. So there is the standard Agnihotra Yaga, in which they make offerings of ghee, etc. So standard Agnihotra karma is there. If from that Agnihotra karma you want a particular kind of result, like Indriya Kamasya, you want the strength or the vigor of your sense organs. You want your sense organs to be vigorous. Then that also result can be gained by dadna juhuyat. Then you must make the offering of dadhi or curd, so that offering will create the result in the form of vigor of your sense organs. Idyatra prakruta agnihotram. So this is part of the discussion of Agnihotra karma. So Purva Mimamsa discusses whether this is an independent thing or is it a part of it. Then the conclusion is that this statement, Dadna Indriya Kama Jivat, only refers to Agnihotra karma. Because which karma is not mentioned there? Where do you do this? So in the Agnihotra karma you do that. So Prakruta means what? That which is subject matter of discussion. Agnihotram Ashritya. So Agnihotra, which is the Prakruta and the discussion, Ashritya, resorting to that. Dadhi Indriyodeshana Vidhiyate. Dadhi Vidhiyate. The curd is enjoined, the oblation of curd is enjoined with what uddesha? Indriya uddeshana, with the goal of keeping in mind the vigor of sense organs. So three things are here. One is Agnihotra karma. Second is offering curd. Third is the result in the form of the vigor of the sense organs. So here also, Upasanaha uchyante. Upasanaha, meditations are vidhiyante, meaning that they are enjoined. For what? Nirvishesha buddhyarohartham. Which uddesha? Keeping in mind the goal of nirvishesha buddhyaroha, that the mind or intellect of the student is able to comprehend nirvishesham Brahman. Then what is the ashritya vidhananyayana? And so this uddesha is the nirvishesha buddhi aroha, the upasanaha are the vidhiyate, and the nama, etc. All of this becomes the ashraya. So nama, vak, all becomes ashraya. So with them, so that's the subject matter, nama, etc. And therefore, they become the ashraya for upasanas with the goal or objective of being able to comprehend the nirvishesha Brahma. So namadi upasanaha ashritya vidhananyayana uchyante. So you can say upasana is being told, athvayati. So Bhashyakara says in the second line, athva sopana arohanavat sthulat arabhya sukshmam sukshmataram cha buddhi vishayam jnapayitva tat atirikte swarajye abhishekshyame iti namadene nirdidikshate. Shruti, nirdidikshate. Shruti points out nirdesha. So, nirdesham karoti. So that the nirdesha, the pointing out is there. Athva, so this could be also the intention. So what is behind the mind of Shruti? That's what we have to now, we ourselves have to understand. So Shruti is saying it for around the various reasons. So primary reason is that Shaka Chandra Darshanavat, that I will point out the Nirvishesha Brahma progressively, step by step. Or that the student may feel that he does not become all-knowing by knowing Sat. I will tell him how. By knowing Sat, you know all these things also. Or the student may not be able to comprehend, therefore I will instruct the student to first meditate, become ready for understanding knowledge. That's how I will do. So, athva sopana arohanavat, like climbing a flight of stairs. Sthulat arabhya, beginning from sthulam, the gross, which is nama, the name, sukshmam vak, sukshmataram cha. So slowly I will make the student comprehend the subtler and subtler and subtler and subtler. So Madhyamadhikari was made to comprehend subtler. This one is made to meditate upon subtler. Buddhi Visham, Buddhi means what? So says the Tikakara here, Buddhi Visham, Upasana Visham ityartha. Here Buddhi means not knowledge but Upasana. So I will make him meditate upon subtler things. Tika athava iti va shabda cha arthe. Athava means atha cha. What is atha cha? Idam cha prayojanam ityartha. Athava means this also is perhaps the prayojanam, the purpose. Idam, so when chakara is there, is not something independent, something additional, you know. Natu idam swatantar prayojanam. Pratyagatma sodhana mukhya prayojanatvat. So this prayojanam of meditation, not swatandam prayojanam, is not an independent thing that the Shruti is saying. Pratyagatma shodhanasya mukhya prayojanatvat. As we said yesterday, that this chapter is meant for pratyagatma shodhanam, for clearing the understanding of pratyagatma. That is the primary purpose. And so, further or secondary purpose is to point out this meditation. So, this Tikakara says that the primary purpose of Shruti is to only induct the student in the knowledge of Nirvishesham Brahman. Then further also he points out that okay, he will know everything and he will meditate upon everything, etc. So Buddhi Visham Jnapayitva, by making him understand that meditate upon this entities in a manner of, so step by step, leading from gross to the subtle. Tadatirikte, then I want him to transcend that. Tadatirikte. That nama, vak, etc. not Brahman. Brahman is that Atiriktam transcends them all. So therefore when the student becomes ready with the meditation, then he is ready to drop it also. So when he is tuning up, he is tuned up with the Saguna Brahma, then he is ready to drop that and comprehend the Nirgunam Brahma. So tadatirikte swarajye abhishekshyami. I will anoint him in swarajyam, in the independence. So swarat, independent. One who shines independently. So I will now anoint him on this the throne of the moksha, independence. Iti namadini nirdikshati. That could be the other prayojanam also why Shruti takes its root of pointing out nama, etc. Then Tika Anusangam eva prayojananantaram. So then again another secondary prayojanam. Anusangikam, connected or implied or secondary. So Tikakara says primary prayojanam is only nirvishesh buddhyarohanam. And by the way also Shruti says that hey, you will know all this is Brahman, meditate upon this Brahman, etc. etc. Or as Anandagiri said, Adhama, 14th line, Adhama adhikare namadini brahmatvena upasya, same tat phalam cha bhuktva. Anandagiri takes from Narendra Puri, and then elaborates. Kramena sakshadana prapnuyati pradarshana uttaro grantha. Okay. So says Shakha Chandra Nidarshana Nyayena Madhyamasya Adhikarana Brahma Siddhi Svikarartham Swarajya Abhishekshayami. Shakha Chandra Nidarshana Nyayena, by the rule of pointing out the moon through the branch. That is for Madhyamasya Adhikarana, that is for the middling student. Brahma Siddhi Svikarartham. Madhyamasya adhikarana dhyanartham, either madhyamasya or adhamasya adhikarana dhyanartham, or for meditation of the inferior student, nam sankirtanam idyuktam. So nam sankirtanam can be for madhyama adhikari to climb to nirvishesha Brahma, for adhamamanda adhikari through meditation to climb to the knowledge of Brahman. इदानीं उत्तम एव अधिकारण अधिकृत्य भूमस्तुत्यर्थम नामादिवचनविधि मतांतरमाह. और अगेन उत्तम एव अधिकारण अधिकृत्य, अगेन कीपिंग इन माइंड द उत्तमाधिकारी, भूमस्तुत्यर्थम, all the sankirtan of name and nama etc. is for simply stutyartham, for only extolling Bhuman, that's all. So then it becomes Arthavada. For stuti of Bhuman, which is Videya, which is what is enjoined, knowledge which is enjoined is knowledge of Bhuman. And for that knowledge, Bhuman is praised or extolled. But look, it is most superior. Bhuman is the most superior, the subtlest, so great, and so you should know it. And that way, Bhumastutyartham namadi vachanam. So for stuti or the extolling of Bhuman, the nama etc. are being described here. Iti matantaramaha, that can be another way of looking at this, athava namaditi. So says Bhashyakara, athava namadi uttarottara विशिष्टानि तत्वानि अतितरां च तेषां उत्कृष्टतमं भूमाख्यं तत्वं इति तत्स्तुत्यर्थं नामादीनां क्रमेण उपन्यासः. अथवा, or you can look at it this way, Namadi uttarottara visheshtani tattvani. That beginning from name, uttarottara visheshtani tattvani, then the following entities are progressively superior to the previous one. Tat atitaram chetesham utkrishtatamam bhumakhyam tattvam. What is bhumakhyam? That which transcends. So each one is superior to the following one, but then Brahman transcends even the most superior one also. Iti, and therefore, if these are so great, what talk of Brahman which transcends even that greatness? Iti tat stutyartham, it is for stuti or extolling Brahman, namadinam kramena upanyasa. That would be the other reason for upanyasa, presenting kramena, step by step, namadinam, the name and others. Says Itika here in the line 29, Namnavaya Mahava Bhuyasti Ityadina Uttarottaram Bhuyastvam Uktva. It will come. If you look at page 301, the line number 4, now line number 5, Namnavava Bhuyasti. So Narada Muni asked, Asti Bhagavaha Namna Bhuya iti. So when Sanat Kumaraji talks about Nama, then Narada Muni asks, Asti Bhagavo Namna Bhuya iti. O revered sir, is there something superior to Nama? Nam Nava Bhuyasti iti. Sanat Kumar says, yes, there is something superior to Nama also. Tanme Bhagavan Bravitu iti. The revered sir may please tell me that which is superior to Nama. And this will go on, then you look at page 302 in the 7th line. Asti Bhagavo Vachaha Bhuya iti. So is there something superior to Nama? Yes, Vag is superior. Asti Bhagavo Vacho Bhuya iti. So, revered sir, is there something superior to the Vag? Asti Vacho Bhuya Vacho Vao Bhuya Asti iti. Yes, there is something superior to Vag also. Tanme Bhagavan Bravitu iti. So, revered sir may please tell me about that. So this is how it proceeds. So coming back is Nam Novaya Bhuyasti Ityadana Uttarottaram Bhuyastvam Uktva. That yes, Narada, there is something superior to Nam also. What is it? Vak. Something superior to Vak also. What is it? Manaha. Superior to Manaha also what? Sankalpa. In this manner, Uttarottaram Bhuyastvam Uktva. Where does it culminate? Yatra Nanyat Pashyati Ityadena Bhuyastu Utkarshasya Tatraiva Parivasana Ukte. How the superiority of Brahman is and Bhuma is described. Yatra Nanyat Pashyati, Nanyat Shrunoti, Nanyat Vijanari, Tad Bhuma. Where one does not see anything, does not hear anything, does not know anything other than one, which is one that is non-dual, one that is infinite. Iti ityadina bhuyastu utkarsha. That is the utkarsha. That's the most exalted state of being superior. The most superior one is that is non-dual. So, grosses his name and then subtler and subtler and subtler and subtler with prana and then goes on also and culminates into Bhuman. Brahman is the subtlest. Bhuyastu utkarshasya utkarsha. The excellence of the excellence of superiority culminates into Bhuman or into Brahman. Tatraiva parivasana uktehe. That is the parivasana culminates into Bhuman. Tasyeva niratishayam bhuyastvam iti. Therefore, Bhuman possesses the niratishaya, the unsurpassable superiority is what Bhuman possesses. Iti tadeva stutyartham ityartha. Therefore, this Nama Sankirtanam, thus this presenting Nama in the whole sequence can be for praising Bhuman, which possesses the most excellent superiority. It is stuti bhate. So Upanishad doesn't say that I am praising, but then we have to see that Upanishad Shruti seems to praise Bhuya, Brahman or Bhuman by doing this. Okay, now we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.